Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today we're meeting again with Starfleet Region 7. Bob Vosseller, Admiral Supreme, is here, representing the USS Challenger. We have Joy Dutilly, who represents the USS Stella Pirata, and then we have her parents, Joy and Bob Dutilly, who represent the USS Banneker. Greetings and welcome, everyone.
Welcome. Hey, everybody.
Happy holidays. Great to be here.
This feels a little weird for me to have my parents on board, but hey, hi, everybody.
Hey,
Family's
yeah.
here.
Are you guys in Maryland now, or are you somewhere
Yeah,
else?
I'm in Maryland. Yeah, I'm in Maryland visiting. I took the shuttlecraft. I took the shuttlecraft, the Clemente, to come over to Banneker Space and hang out with my folks.
That is fantastic. I think it's awesome that your family that shares a passion for Star Trek. I have a very high opinion of Star Trek. Star Trek gave us a vision for a better future for humanity. And it still motivates and inspires people to live in the world that Gene Roddenberry and others created. And Starfleet has always been a force of good in my experience. They do a lot of charity. They stimulate creativity. They do a lot of cool events. So I'm greatly honored to be here speaking with you. So what got you into Star Trek? Did you inspire your daughter, or did your daughter inspire you, Bob and Joy?
They inspired me. Okay.
So we've been watching Star Trek since it first started. And of course, our daughter here watched with us. Well, wait a minute.
Wow, I really aged.
Yeah. Okay.
No, back in the 60s, we first started watching it. But we have always watched all the reruns. And Maria, she saw all of them.
Yep.
So,
So what mother? I'll start with you, Mom.
Okay.
What intrigued you about Star Trek when it came out in the 60s? What intrigued you? Besides Kirky baby. My mom has a crush on Kirk.
yeah,
Okay.
I've always called him Kirky baby.
Yes.
Well, what excited me about it was that it was science fiction. I've always been interested in science fiction. And that was just another outgrowth of that, was to watch this show. And I was really excited when it first came out. And I eagerly waited for every episode that came on. And I don't know what else to say. So
Well, thank you very much. You said a lot, Bob.
Right.
Okay, well, I watched all the original episodes every week, and that kept me going to fulfill my dream.
And what was your dream?
What is your dream?
My dream, since I saw Sputnik go over, my dream was to work in the space program.
Awesome. Tell us about that. That is phenomenal.
Well, after I got my degrees, I got a job at Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. So
What is
you're one of the heroes that actually brought us closer to the stars. So that is incredibly awesome.
yeah, well, I was very, very lucky to be able to become part of that. And I worked, the first mission I worked on was the Cosmic Background Explorer. And that, the Cosmic Background Explorer won a Nobel Prize.
Oh, wow.
So
Maria, you didn't tell us any of this. This is awesome.
I don't know all the stuff that he worked on. I know about Kobe. I know about like the sun stuff that you did near the end of your career. You know, the Soho project. There you go. So I know a couple of projects, but I don't know all of the projects. You know, so
right.
He's a man of mystery.
Well, I'm inviting Bob.
Thank you very much.
We're going to have a show that's going to focus on the science of space, because a lot of people aren't aware how much is going on in our world in terms of space exploration. Everything from telescopes to people going into space, and although we get it on the news, it gets lost in a lot of the other things that are going on. So I'm definitely going to be inviting you as a guest on that show. So
Okay.
I'm impressed.
Cool.
Well, I was just lucky.
But he did a lot of stuff. So
But it sounds like it. And what got you into Star Trek?
Well, I mean, I watched Star Trek. I love science fiction my entire life. I read science fiction when I was 8 years old,
Mhm.
you know, and I love science fiction. And that was Star Trek continued to give me the impetus to continue toward my final goal. It took me a long time.
That's really cool.
And you reached your final goal. And again, that is extremely rare, and it needs to be celebrated. A lot of people give up on their dreams. It sounds like you followed your dream and you attained it, and then you helped through your actualizing your dream, our collective dreams of space become more anchored in this world and open up a path to a better tomorrow. So I salute you, sir.
right. And so and then what's interesting about between my dad and I is that we're similar in that way because I grew up on Star Trek when it's starting age of 3. That's my earliest memory of Star Trek is when I was 3 years old, watching the reruns of the original series. That helped motivate me to be in the social sciences to get my degree in sociology. So he went into the hard sciences, I went into the soft sciences. So it's like Star Trek influenced both of us in 2 different fields. You know, and then so I followed my passion in being a sociologist.
Right.
So
And
That is awesome.
yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Star Trek had a lot of taught people a lot about what could be and how they could come about taking care of people in various episodes. So it was really, there was a lot of sociology involved.
Right. Yes. Agreed.
Wow, that is very inspiring, and I'm going to invite you to something else too a little later in the episode when I talk about that. How did the Banneker come to be? Was this a pre-existing vessel, or was this something that you created?
Well, we did have a pre-existing vessel when we first got into it. And it was the
Richtofen.
Richtofen.
The Richtofen.
Okay. And there was nothing going on with that. And we convinced, along with other people, that we should be a Galaxy class vessel.
And then you guys went through a name change too, as well as with the Pittsburgh chapter.
Right.
We were the Inferno, now we're the Pirata. They were the Richtofen, now they're the Banneker. So,
Right. And we had a contest to determine what the name should be. And we were looking for people in science. So there was a famous person here in the Baltimore area, Benjamin Banneker. And he was a scientist many, many years ago. And there is a museum in Baltimore, not in
Ellicott City. Ellicott City.
Which is dedicated to Benjamin Banneker because he was involved in many different aspects of science. So, but one thing that's different from our club is that our ship moves. So we
I like that.
we go to various stellar systems, real stellar systems, not fake ones, real ones. And our commanding officer, he picks the place where we're going to go. And I'm the stellar cartographer, so I plan a route to that system. So at the present time, we're in the TRAPPIST system. So we've we've been to about 7, 8 stellar systems, hitting dwarf stars the most, especially ground dwarfs, which are not usually explored or have been explored by Star Trek vessels. So our ship actually does move from stellar system to stellar system. And when we reach a stellar system, Joy is a planetary geologist, and we actually explore that system.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
And I take information from the stars, from that star in the stellar system, and determine what its lifetime is and when it was born, what type of elements are coming off of the radiation cloud emanated by that star.
That is awesome and very educational. How many people are engaged in this activity with you? That is awesome.
Well, it's the entire club. We put in reports. We have stellar science reports that we put in, and everybody gives feedback. So we have people in engineering. We have 23 people on board, and each in a different area: med bay, engineering, flight controls. Everybody has a position, and everybody participates.
That is certainly unique. Bob Vosseller, I would say this is a unique type of club activity. Is there anything even remotely like it that you know of?
No, I've never heard anything quite like this before, but every chapter within Starfleet is so unique because of the wonderful makeup of our membership, who bring their own particular talents and interests into it. And I've, you know, being the old guy in the 7th Fleet, it's been interesting to watch the evolution of what is now the Banneker, because an interesting side note is before it was the Richthofen, it was the USS Raven. And I believe it formed during the time that I was a region coordinator. It might have commissioned around that time. I think it under my watch, or maybe just before, probably my watch. But the members, the leadership of that time called it the Raven because they were very interested in Edgar Allan Poe, you know, quote the Raven nevermore, and that sort of thing. And because of the connection again with Maryland, with
Right.
Poe. So, you know, and then after, I don't know how many years, that I think it was a change of leadership, or maybe it was even during the time that commanding officer, the chapter chairperson, that she was still in charge, that they changed the name to the Richthofen, and which translates basically to the Red Baron, which was an interesting choice. I never quite understood that, but I guess it was flight, you know, and that sort of thing. So they changed it to that. And now the Banneker has brought in more of a science approach, and with what is a rather unique project within the chapter. And I think that's fantastic.
Well,
I think it's interesting to watch, you know.
we also do charity events.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that next. What other types of events does the Banneker host?
Well, we do some member parties, and there's a gaming group, and we go places as a group to have fun. Like we went to the Banneker Museum, and there were picnics, when that was allowed.
Per COVID
And-
rules, some activities have been limited. So,
Yes. And of course, there are charity events like collecting toys at Christmas time for disadvantaged children, and also collection of food for local food banks. So that's
Do
a
people
lot
know?
of we've done.
Do people know about your charitable events outside of?
I believe so, just inside the group.
I'm going to be focusing on the good deeds that Starfleet performs, with a special focus on health and fitness for this coming year. I would like these things to be known, and I know you're not doing them to become visible or known. You're doing them out of the goodness of your hearts to create a better world. But the Star Trek story has inspired many people, again, to make changes in the here and now, to bring us toward a world that approximates, Roddenberry's vision. So I think more attention should be drawn to these, because I believe it'll inspire other people to do what they can, even if it's something small, something local. But that all of us should do what we can in whatever way we can, even if it's to improve relations with our own homes. Whatever you could do to do that, to bring about a better world. And I would love to focus on everybody's activities. So I will have a conversation with Bob about that, and we could weave it into what we're doing.
So many chapters right now. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but so many chapters right now, because of the holiday season, are so involved with, either the giving tree, the wish tree, or, Toys for Tots in particular. And while my chapter also, participates in that, usually we coincide, we connected it with what was our annual cookie swap event. And we would ask everyone not only to bring some cookies, but a few toys to put in a box that we would bring to the local, a local cause, either the town that we were based at or another one. This year, because of the COVID situation, we did things a little differently. We didn't have the cookie swap, so consequently, we didn't end up having the toys. But I kind of represented the chapter myself in getting a bunch of toys. Granted, they were only at a dollar store, but I went nuts with the Final Faction series, which, if you don't go to Dollar Tree, has a big sci-fi collection for only $1 with some pretty cool action figures. And yes, I did buy some for myself, of course, but I got a kick out of bringing those over to one of the local police departments from one of the towns I cover, and showing off the strange alien creature that was there, and plus a bunch of other toys. Because they were so cheap, I was able to buy a whole bunch, and now they even have vehicles for them all.
Oh, cool.
So I was kind of going vicariously through my head of like, I wish I was there when the kid opens this up, even though this is only $1. This looks like such a cool looking monster alien, But we touched people like that because, with toy collections and things like that. But this time of year, it's really, really nice to see that happen.
And you've seen, like, with other chapters too within Region 7, Catherine Johnson, shout out to Catherine Johnson. They did so much toys. Also the Sovereign, they did a food drive.
Yes.
So some people are posting, like, on the Region 7 Facebook page with the activities that they've done. So, like,
which is great to see.
It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob, I applied to the Region 7 Facebook page, but I didn't answer the questions because they asked for my number. I don't have a number at this particular point in time.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that, but then there was no place. I saw the request and I was going to accept, approve it, but then it looked like it had already either been done or whatever. But we'll look into that,
And I also put in a request to join. You have the Banneker listed as a social club, so I asked to join that as well. So my request will be there too. This way I can, again, just keep abreast of what is going on. Did you guys start off together in Star Trek fandom, like on the same ship, or how did your being a family in Starfleet
I can answer that. Okay, so I went to my very first regional conference a couple years ago. All right, so I drove all the way out to New Jersey. This was back in 2019 when we could gather, So So I had a really great time, and then I was meeting my parents like a couple weeks later for my birthday, because my birthday's at the end of October. And so I was telling them all about it, how much fun I had, and I was like, "You got to join Starfleet. You guys are Star Trek fans. Come on, do it." You know, and
Pressure.
Yes, I did pressure them, folks. I did pressure them, and so then they're like, "Okay, fine." So it was between the Goddard and the then Richthofen. They decided to go with the Richthofen, and they've been members since. So they've been members for a couple years. I've been a member of Starfleet International for like 10, because I was a regular member of the Inferno, the then Inferno for the Pittsburgh chapter. Now that's the Stella Pirata. But yeah, so I've been a member for years, and my parents just joined. That seems a little odd. The kid joins first and then brings the parents in, you know.
Well, it's good. It's something, again, you're doing together, even though you're on separate ships, and that's a fantastic thing.
Right. Yeah.
That is a fantastic thing, and it's a very rare thing. And
yeah, we can share in the fandom. I mean, like, I wanted them to be like a part of a Maryland ship. I didn't want them to be part of my ship, because like I'm 4 hours away. Like you're not gonna be able to partake in stuff. So join a Maryland ship. They found the then Richthofen, now Banneker, and they're having a good time, aren't you?
We do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you know it, but Maria also collects these figures like you were talking about, and she brings them to work. Okay.
Yeah.
And since she's a caseworker.
Yeah, for Child Protective Services.
Right.
Yeah.
CPS.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes some of these along when she gets a request, a referral, to go try and help a family or a child. So
yeah, sometimes you know, giving a toy, you know, helps in a traumatic situation.
Yes.
Like in particular, removal that I have to do.
Oh,
So you know, it's tough. I mean, you know, that kind of brings down like the vibe of the show. But yeah, you know, like sometimes I do give out the toys, you know, that I collect. You know, because it helps out. It helps the kid. You know.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that is a hard job. My background's in the human services, and I know there's a lot of times you have to do things that are difficult to do, but they need to get done.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you realize it. Maybe you do, Bob, but Maria is International Commander of the Year.
All right.
Yes, I do know.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dad.
Wow.
My parents are really proud of that, you know, like, yeah, I was shocked to win that award. I was genuinely shocked. Bob can attest to that. You know, I was not expecting that. Yes, I did cry a couple tears. Yeah, I was a little shocked. But that was a nice moment. I was not expecting that. So.
And I'm going to post.
Well deserved.
I'm going to post that in the promos, because we're greatly honored to have the international commander. That is incredibly awesome.
Yes, and then
very well deserved.
You're right, and thank you, Bob. Thank you. And the Stella Pirata won the chapter of the year on the regional level. We lost out on the international level, but I'm really proud of my crew. Really proud.
I will post that also.
All right.
Do you guys participate in the project that? Oh, you weren't here. Bob had shared with us that Region 7 ships are involved in a fitness project where they count steps that they take each and every day. Am I representing the effort correctly, Bob?
Yes, it's a Starfleet initiative through a division called Starfleet Medical, which is administrated regionally to all the regions through the Assistant Surgeon General Office, and we have one for Region 7, and a member of the Banneker is actually in charge of that.
Yeah,
okay.
Ariel Vitale.
Yeah.
And the assistant to the assistant is Stephen Vetrano, who's on my chapter. So I wish I could say Challenger really participated, but we probably
the Pirata.
We just probably put on more pounds, probably.
Yeah, we were drinking a little bit too much rum on the Pirata.
Yeah.
If you could email me some info on that, Bob, you know, I'll introduce that with this New Year's initiative, and
Okay.
just let them know that this is what Starfleet Region 7 happens to be doing, and to commend Region 7 ships who are participating, because again, it's again trying to create a better future, and people's health is very important, especially in the world that we live in right now. Do you have any upcoming events for the Banneker?
Well, we are having a get together on December 31st at one of the, we had ours hit at our place here, and then at Terry and Ariel.
So they're gonna have a party at their residence on the
New
31st.
Year's Eve.
New Year's party.
Yeah, New Year's party.
Awesome.
So we'll probably discuss other places we could go.
Again, I'm going to have you guys back on if you're interested in coming back on, because you're fascinating. Quote a Vulcan. You're very fascinating, and you do interesting things. And I'll share some of the things that are coming up, and anything you're interested in, please let me know. One of the folks
you get to interview a Region 7 family.
Yes, that is a rare opportunity, and thank you, Maria, for making that happen.
Right. No problem.
One of the folks that I work with on, I guess, entertainment type things, but also on real life type of things, and I met her when I was in the human services years ago, is Dr. Barbara Becker-Holstein. She's a positive psychologist. And we're starting, she was there for my very first Age of Heroes initiative. The Age of Heroes initiative is something I've been doing my whole life. Most of them have been visible in some way, some of them not. But I find something that I feel could use some attention or improvement, and then I focus on it, and then I recruit heroes to help me tackle that particular challenge, either locally or not so locally. Again, it depends on what we're doing. So right now, the challenge seems to be, in my eyes, that we can't trust our information, and there's a medical crisis, and our information, is not trustworthy insofar as the people can't agree on what a fact is. So that's a very big problem. And we don't want the type of humanity that Q showed us in the first episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. We want a better, brighter humanity. So we're focusing on, again, people, what are they doing for their individual health? What are they doing collectively for health? And also all the information and all about the types of health services and practices, and then the sources of information and how trustworthy they are. So right now we're just aiming to increase awareness and to start a dialogue that isn't polarized, because people are fighting each other over the views of reality. So it's just opening a dialogue. So that's our challenge for now. And Dr. Barbara Becker-Holstein is doing something, she's been doing it for years now, called the Selfie Project. And she has been having people do little selfie movies of a couple of minutes of themselves, talking about various subjects. And what we're going to be doing together is focusing on the stories that are empowering and that actually lead people to become a force for positive change, rather than warriors in a never-ending fight between the forces of light and darkness, which is where a lot of people on both sides are like kind of heading. And people are seeing each other as evil and deluded, and again, that's not really helpful in establishing dialogue. So it's only going to focus on the positive things. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I certainly can't give anybody medical information or any type of information. But what I'm doing is I'm sharing my journey. I have type 2 diabetes, which is a challenge. I gave myself type 2 diabetes. And I gave myself type 2 diabetes by following pre-steroid bodybuilding diets, because I didn't want to take steroids. I lift weights. But I wanted to see, what did bodybuilders do before steroids? And they used to drink a lot of milk, like over a gallon a day, and eat lots of oranges. Those are some of the secrets they had.
Right.
Of course, I couldn't research what happened to them later in life, because if I'd been able to, I would have seen that maybe that's not the course of action to take, but I knew no better at the time, so I did that, and it raised my blood sugar level tremendously over the course of a year, and I wound up with type 2 diabetes. So again, I got type 2 diabetes by following the best advice that I could find. So that's my personal story. But Dr. Barbara Becker-Holstein and I are going to be recording stories like yours about how the story of Star Trek, and we're starting with Star Trek, inspired people to do good things in the real world, you know, and to try to make for a better tomorrow and have fun at the same time. So that's one thing that is starting very soon. And as soon as I have details, I will share them. And, you know, if you'd like to join in, just take a selfie and send it to Barbara, and she'll take it from there. The other thing is mythological. I love mythology. I'm Greek, and I've studied lots of different mythologies. When Bob met me, I was studying Klingon mythology and doing something with it. So I do things with mythology. And so for the past decade and a half, and during my earlier years, I did lots of things with Greek mythology, and this is one of them. So if anybody's interested in Greek mythology, I'll be doing a really in-depth exploration of Greek mythology and science fiction, starting with a focus on Star Trek. So if anybody wants to play with and share their thoughts about the Q and about the Organians, or about the Olympians, or about any of the godlike races, about Trelane, what do you call it? That's what it's going to be all about. And each month we're going to focus on a different, you know, like Star Trek race, and share information. And we're starting with who mourns for Adonis. And that'll be kind of like the basic premise that starts everything off. And for those who like role playing by Facebook, I created a Facebook role play for it, if anybody wants to do that. But that's the other initiative, you know, coming up. So in terms of my interactions with Starfleet, that's kind of like an idea of what's on that side of the I guess the program. And this program, of course, which focuses on Starfleet people, and you know what they're doing, and it's a love letter to Star Trek, the people involved in it, and also an open invitation for people to look at this. And you know, there is something very valuable here, and encouragement to get involved with it. So anyway, those are the things that are coming up. If anything interests you, just let me know. And we're also sharing events, and when people are doing charitable things, even if they have nothing to do with health, if they'd like to share them, I'll gladly, you know, post it and draw attention to it.
Awesome. Thank you very much for using your platform to help us out. I appreciate that.
Well, you guys are awesome. And again, I've known Starfleet since I met Bob back in the I guess 80s, mid 80s. So
Yeah.
You guys know
quite a while. And I am old enough to remember when it was a new show. You know, I was young, but I remember when it first came on TV, and it was, oh wow. So does the Stella Pirata have anything going on that they'd like to report on?
But we don't really have anything much of going on. Like the one thing that we are looking to do maybe in January, depending on COVID, is that we are looking to attend the Science Center, the Carnegie Science Center right in Pittsburgh, and they have a Pompeii exhibit where you have actual artifacts from Pompeii. And
oh, awesome.
So there's a lot of crew members who are interested in that. So that might be something to do, but we have to wait to see what COVID's doing. You know, like, you know, this Omicron thing, you know, like it kind of throws things up in the air. So, you know, but that's one thing that we're looking on doing is doing the Pompeii exhibit, which looks really cool. I mean, like actual artifacts from Pompeii. That's cool.
That is cool. That falls under the mythical thing. So I'd be glad to promote that. And I was in Pompeii years ago, back in the 70s. Yeah, it's an awesome, awesome place.
I would love to go to Pompeii. As a sociologist, to be able to walk, like the cultural immersion that I could just walk where people, I would love it. So.
Back then, because Pompeii was a very, I guess, progressive place, and back then they used to split the men and the women up to different groups to show you different things. So I know that some of the things they showed back then would have been shocking by today's
Yeah,
standards. But they did show us that during a tour, and it was like that was on the family tour. Did they separate you guys when you went to Pompeii and show you different things, or
No.
no? Okay,
When were you there?
I was there sometime in the, I guess, mid to late 70s.
Okay.
you guys were just there a few years ago.
We were there about 7, 8,
2 years ago?
no, longer.
Oh, okay.
7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But they're discovering more and more.
Right.
Because
Yes.
they're still excavating.
Oh, that is awesome. And Bob, anything for the USS Challenger going on, and for in Region 7 generally?
Well, for USS Challenger, January is always what we look forward to with our reorganization meeting, which is our way of sitting down and looking at mapping out our schedule preliminarily, especially during these wonderful times.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm not sure this year if our reorg, which is probably set for middle of January, will be live, virtual, or hybrid. But hopefully it will allow for some component of live, because I was hoping that during the course of the meeting, which isn't just business meeting. I mean, we kind of cut loose at times too, and bring our lunch, or and then usually go out to dinner afterwards. But I was hoping during the course of our discussing potential plans for the new year that I could get my crew to help me munch and get rid of this huge Reese's
Oh, yeah.
that my boss, Jason, who you may remember,
Yes.
Hercules, who was the James Bond, gave to employees. I don't know if they were all employees, but gave them to me, and along with a nice generous bonus. So I appreciate that. So I'm going to need some help. I don't think Emily and I can devour all of this.
Well, you know what? For us diabetics, if we just close our eyes, there's no carbs in that.
Yeah.
You know that.
It's peanut butter and chocolate. So, but no, this is so cool. But no, that's what we've got to. We generally map out our plan, and even though there's so many things up in the air, at least we'll have a roadmap, to see some of the events that we usually do, some new things to explore, like museum trips, like what you folks are doing.
Right.
Things like that. I'm sure we're gonna do our mini golf, later in the year, and I hope that COVID permitting, that come April we can return to do our intergalactic food festival, which you can't really do unless it's live, and that also serves to commemorate First Contact Day, because
Yes.
it used to be in January, and then it'd be the Super Bowl, and then the Super Bowl moved to February. So we kind of moved it back, and then March, and then the weather is unpredictable in March, so we just said screw it, let's just do it in the spring. But then that's been going on for a very long time, and COVID just kind of messed up with that. Now for the region, and also Challenger and many other chapters, certainly the Banneker, we're looking forward to Farpoint, that's being held at the Hunt
I
Valley.
hope it doesn't get canceled with Omicron.
I would not be surprised if that was either canceled or went virtual. I don't know now, because of so many things that is the Omicron has brought up. I don't know what's going to happen there. So we're and I just got the message from Bob Smith, the CEO of the Banneker, who also serves as the Region 7 recruitment officer, for a survey on our table duty, shift. And I signed up for that because but I don't know 100% if I'm going to be making it, or if anybody's going to be making it. It's also weather related too. Who knows what kind of weather we're going to have in mid-February.
Yeah. If it's snowing and miserable, I'm not driving through the mountains.
No. I was among those that back in 2003 was marooned in the Hunt Valley when Farpoint became Snowpoint, and I got to say it was a lot of fun. But I don't necessarily know if I want to repeat that again. So you know, we'll have to take a wait and see attitude on Farpoint, but it is we are looking kind of forward to it. And I believe Brent Spiner is the guest there.
Brent Spiner is the guest there.
Yeah. So that would be great. We haven't seen him since Shore Leave of a few years ago. So we'll see what happens.
Bob, is there any other regional news, or can we go to Little Pop Quiz?
Oh, I can't delay it any further. I
One more
guess
thing to announce after Bob says his piece, and then we'll go to the pop.
unfortunately, I have nothing further to add. So we're going to go to Star Trek Jeopardy or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. You, Bob. You're welcome.
I have one more thing to add before we start the quiz.
Oh, okay, all right.
This was going to start around now, but then Omicron happened, so it's not going to start now. But Bob was at the one event that we did publicly in 2016 called Mythic Atlantis. And Starfleet was very well represented there, Region 7. And we were going to have another Mythic Atlantis, and then we started something in our local library in Cresskill. And again, that got canceled. They're not letting more than 10 people in at a time. And that might have changed since last week as we're getting the news about Omicron. But we're going to be having at some point regularly scheduled meetings there with guest speakers and with a trading post. So that people who want to trade their extra Star Trek stuff could trade with each other. We'll also have books for sale to benefit the library. I'm the president of our Friends of the Cresskill Library. So we're going to be setting that up as part of the experience as well. And you never know what you're going to find, so there'll be treasures to be had for all.
All right.
Cool.
And now onwards to the challenge, Bob.
The challenge.
And
Okay.
I will keep score.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Oh,
Okay.
all right. And so if anybody wants to participate, because I know this is going to go on the YouTube channel, so anybody who wants to, try and participate, feel free. Let's see who gets the biggest score. All right. You
Okay.
ready?
The first couple of questions are very, very easy. Starts out. Okay. Who was the first officer actor's name on the pilot episode of Star Trek?
Oh, it's Major Barrett, right?
Right. Well,
Number one. Yep.
right. Okay.
You
And
want to keep
I
score?
I do want to, Joyce and I both worked on this.
Okay. These two, they created this quiz for the Banneker Christmas party. So,
Right.
all right. Second question.
Okay. What was Gene Roddenberry's preferred original name of the Starship?
Ooh, I don't know that.
The USS Yorktown, I believe.
Yay!
Yeah, we got that
All right.
Okay. 2 points. What is Sulu's primary position on the Enterprise? Easy one,
Navigator?
Helmsman.
Helmsman, okay.
right? What is Sulu's first name?
Haikuru.
Hikaru.
Pardon?
Haikuru.
Hikaru?
Haikuru.
No, Bob's got it.
How did you pronounce that?
Haikuru.
I thought it was pronounced Hikaru, but okay, yes.
Yeah, well, you're both overlapping each other. Kikaro.
Okay.
It was close enough.
Okay.
They got it. Give them a point. I'll advocate for you guys. Give them a point.
Okay. Who was the first African-American character? The character's name to be captain of a starship. That's another easy one. Don't get too much in the weeds.
Don't overthink it.
I believe she was played by Madge Sinclair on the USS Saratoga.
You're in the weeds. You're in the weeds. Don't overthink it.
The
Benjamin Sisko?
question again is who,
Got it. Benjamin Sisko.
wait, what was the question?
Yeah.
Who was the first African-American character's name to be captain of a starship for a big period of time?
Well, Sisko wasn't the captain of a starship until, well, the Defiant, you could say, but And he wasn't a captain by rank until later on in Deep Space Nine's series, until like several, the first, I think predating Deep Space Nine, the first Starship captain we saw was
Only for a short.
Madge Sinclair in Star Trek 4, playing the captain of the Saratoga. But
Right. I'm not. That's just a very small period of time.
He was thinking Deep Space Nine.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't get that.
Okay.
What was the actor's name? This is a two-part question.
I don't remember.
Well, if you're talking Cisco.
Yeah. That's who he's talking about. What's the actor's name?
This is a two-part question.
Why am I drawing a blank to something so obvious?
Yeah, me too.
Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart.
You are having a brain fart, Bob.
I was just watching Deep Space Nine last night, for God's sakes.
B.
What? Shush.
I'm trying to help you, Bob.
Shush.
Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed here.
Okay. See,
Is it Emery something? Emery, I don't know.
Avery Brooks.
There you go. Ding, ding,
My
ding.
God, I was having a stroke here, for God's sakes. Got to take the hat off or something. I don't know.
That's why I was saying B, Bob. B.
Avery Brooks, my God.
quiet. Who was the first Vulcan science officer?
Was it Spock? No. Oh, the one on Enterprise.
T'Pol?
You got it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You didn't get it.
No, I didn't.
All right.
Okay. Which actor originally devised the Klingon language?
James Doohan.
Right?
Wow.
I didn't know that.
And that was during the animated series, I believe. Or at least he was doing it around then, and definitely during the motion picture.
I remember Mark Okrand
that
wrote the
was
Klingon dictionary, but
That was
I
a
didn't
two-part
know that.
question. Yeah, James Doohan devised it on his own time.
Mhm.
And you said it was in this is a two-part question. What movie was the Klingon language first used?
The motion picture.
Right.
Well, give him his
Because
point.
we had subtitles for the first time.
Yes.
Da, 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 da.
Okay, what was the name of the character that was adopted by the Vulcan ambassador, Sarah?
Michael Burnham.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob was going to get it.
Yeah.
He was just having a brain fart earlier this moment.
Well, I should have had a 15-second timer. What Star Trek character was labeled unknown sample when discovered by Bajoran scientists?
Odo.
Right? This is also another two-part. Where was this sample found?
In the wormhole?
That's a good guess. I'll say Bajor, but I don't think that's right.
No. The Denoris belt.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Make sure you give him his 1 point.
No.
Hey, Bob, I'm trying to help you out here.
What is the name of the Klingon homeworld?
Kronos or Kronos, depending on who you read.
Yeah. Qones with an almost like an umlaut.
I say they get that at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who was the name of the first actor to play a member of all three alien races?
Mark Leonard.
Yes.
Right.
Mark Leonard.
And
Very nice man, by the way. Who also had, unfortunately, he also was a diabetic and would sell his autograph pictures to go to the Diabetes Foundation. Very, very nice man.
That's very nice. He was also on the Planet of the Apes. He played an ape,
Yes.
a gorilla, I believe.
Okay, this was a two-parter also. What were the three alien races
The three alien races of
Of
that he
what?
played?
that he played. Well, he was a Vulcan, He was in order of appearance, Romulan,
Romulan.
Vulcan, and
And
Klingon in motion picture.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
He was the first bumphead Klingon.
what was the long-lived race that bartender Guinan belonged to?
Aurelians?
Or yeah, the Aurelians, a race of listeners. But I think Hercules got it before me do.
Oh, both got it.
The L, didn't they have an L in there first? The L Orients?
L Orient. And finally, which alien race reminded Ronald Reagan of the U.S. Congress?
Klingons.
Right.
How many points?
Yeah,
How
well,
much-
both of you working on it, so.
Yeah. All right. So how many points did Bob beat out the Banneker?
3, 4,
Their top score was
6,
eight. Was
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11, almost a perfect score.
No,
Yay!
11 out of 17.
Well, hey, 11 out of 17.
Not bad.
That is,
Banneker.
wow.
Good job, Bob. You beat Banneker.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was fun. That was
Well,
fun.
they were both working on it.
Also,
Yeah,
they beat Banneker.
yeah. And you kept trying to give them.
Well, I gotta help out my friends.
And she's in the human services too. She's compassionate and empathic.
Yeah,
So
she is.
That's right.
it's in her nature.
Maria loves to bring people together, and that's
That's
why,
right. I'm a social worker.
you know, I think, you know, sometimes when I hear Maria, I hear a younger me, you know, from my younger days. Except she's pretty, obviously. She's prettier than me,
in
but
trouble. You better go to a psychiatrist.
He's the Wawa version of me. There you go. Because he's in the land of Wawa. Well, I'm in the land of Wawa right
that's
now.
the only difference of opinion that Maria and I have. She's the sheets to the end, and I'm Wawa forever. So
That's right. Yeah.
We've reached the end of our conversation today. I want to thank everybody for being on. I had a wonderful time, and thank you for preparing the quiz and for being on today's episode. So we will start with you. How can people get in touch with the Banneker? How can they get involved? Do they need to live in a particular place where you're local, or can they join worldwide? What can they expect, and so forth?
You want to answer that, Mother?
We are a local group, so anyone that's in the Baltimore or Washington area could be a member.
Right. And just like the Stella Pirata, we're Pittsburgh based. So anybody in the Pittsburgh area, you know, or Western PA, we have people from, you know, all over Western PA, can also join the Stella Pirata.
And the Stella Pirata is a Star Trek pirate ship.
Is a pirate ship. We are one of 4 pirate ships in all of Starfleet International. We're proud of that. So.
And what timeline is the Banneker in? Is it Next Generation? Is it Picard? Is it the original series?
It's I think it's 2365.
I think that's Next Gen era.
2365.
Yeah.
So during the Next Generation era. Okay.
Right.
And Bob, is there anything? Oh, I'm sorry.
We're a science ship, and we're going from stellar system to stellar system. We've discovered a number of things that have been overlooked by Star Trek because they don't usually go to dwarf stars,
Right.
red dwarf or brown dwarf.
They're all about the science, and the Stella Pirata is all about the social activities. Hey, party!
That befits the pirate ship.
It does, it does.
And Bob, the USS Challenger, and then also Region 7. How can folks find you and get involved? And is there any process they need to go through?
they can check us out. They're within the New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Washington, Pennsylvania area, Delaware, corner of Starfleet, which is Region 7. And you can check out region7.com. You can check our Facebook page out. at Starfleet Region 7. And obviously, if you're beyond that area, check out sfi.org for the Starfleet's own website, and Starfleet members only. Well, obviously you'd have to be a member for that, but you know, you could find out all about that. It's joining Starfleet's very cheap. It's all at $5. And you know, we welcome people from all over the place, and we have chapters from all over the world. So you know, definitely check us out one way or another. We're a welcoming group. We have people of all different ages, different backgrounds, everything, because everybody is you know, a different background from Star Trek. So you know, we have a great deal of fun, and it is like one big extended family. So we welcome everyone to check us out and come find a chapter near you, or even a chapter that may not be near you, and take part.
Thank you very much. And I can personally vouch that since the mid 80s, everybody I have met at through Starfleet and through the Star Trek fandom has been eccentric in a unique and interesting way, and really good people doing really good things. And Bob and Joy, are you on Facebook?
Yes, my mom is on Facebook.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I will send you a friend request, and this way.
All right, I'll look for it.
Okay, thanks to everybody. You're awesome. I'm really honored that you're on the show on the eve of a holiday, and I look forward to our conversations in the very near future. May this coming year bring you much joy, prosperity, personal fulfillment, and all your heart's desires.
Well, I'd like to thank Hercules and Bob, meeting you and talking with you.
Yep.
Thank you very much. And
Great meeting Maria's parents.
The Region 7 family. Hey.
Yes.
Okay, good night, everybody. Oh, live long and prosper.
Yes, that's right. Live long and prosper.